I'm so honored and humbly grateful to be here today as your host. Today is actually week number 18 here of the calls. This is the Gavin Mehl. My name is Gavin Mehl. I'm going to be your host today. See if I can get my glare out of the glasses there. Okay, cool. So today, today's going to be covering a call. This is the first time I'm broadcasting the call live on the Google Hangout as well as the conference line. And so bear with me as I'm kind of adapting to doing it both at the same time here. All right. So today, Friday, November 18th, I want to talk today a little bit about the 3 rules of making money. You know what? I'm actually offline. I'm online now on the Google Hangout. There we go. All right. So today, welcome everyone. I'm so honored and humbly grateful to be here today as your host. This is Gavin Mehl. Today is going to be it's actually the 18th week of doing calls like this, but it's the first time I'm doing calls like this on the Google Hangout live, so people can tune in on live or on the YouTube feed. So today is actually going to be a very special call today because I'm going to read. I'll go through what I'm going to talk about. We've got basically the 3 rules of making money. I want to talk about the story of the law of success. I want to do some training, and I want to do something on lesson number 1 called Nuggets of Gold, which is I learned from my mentor, the greatest living mentor that I have today. And so first of all, thank everyone for listening to the recordings, and for those who are watching on YouTube or the YouTube feed. I've been doing these calls for the last 18 weeks, and normally I do them as a live call where people call in live and they're able to listen in live or listen to the recording, and the calls became so popular that people started listening to the recordings by the hundreds, and I wouldn't say viral like hundreds of thousands or anything like that yet, but definitely by the hundreds. And so it means a lot to me to offer value to others and hopefully inspire them to be the fullest and best version of themselves. These calls are really just designed from the student's perspective. I'm not a guru. I'm just merely a student, no better than you are. In fact, I've probably made more mistakes and failed a lot more times than a lot of people have who are listening or tuning in live. This call is it's about applying the Mastermind principle and of uniting others in perfect harmony to bring about the same goal of total freedom. And I'm going to introduce myself here in a moment, but allow me to illustrate. I like to start with something light first, okay? So some years ago, and this story is going to be about my greatest living mentor, because I believe that a story that he actually experienced. So I'm going to share a story, a letter from him as well. So some years ago, I'll plug in my mic here. And for those who have ever watched the TV show Kung Fu, and Kung Fu was back in the 70s. It was a TV show had David Carradine on it, and it was about the Shaolin monks. And for those who don't know, the Shaolin monks were these special monks. Basically, a thousand years or so ago, lots of people would invade the monks' temples. They were peaceful monks in China, and they had the idea of love and peace and joy and harmony. But these bandits would come in and kill the monks, beat the monks up, rob the monks, and cause the monks to get rather angry over time. And so they decided to go out and find the toughest, the strongest warriors throughout the land. This is say 1,000 years ago. And so they went in each different province, from Russia to China, Japan, South, India, all over the place. And they found the people who had the best fighting style, and they brought them back to the temple. They said, teach us your fighting style so that we can protect ourselves from these bandits coming in and trying to rob us and kill the monks. So over the centuries, many years passed, and these monks combined these fighting styles, and it became the best most feared prominent fighting style to ever reign, called the Shaolin. It was basically the Shaolin temple, Shaolin monk. Okay, so these are all the best fighting styles combined. So this show called Kung Fu by David Carradine was based on a character from the Shaolin temple. For those who may have seen this show back in the 70s, they still get a replay on it, I think, on Netflix or YouTube. So anyhow, so more recently, back in the 70s, one of the monks had gone on a tour, and they went on a tour and, to kind of show off their amazing abilities, how they could fight and jump and kick and do these incredible things. One of the monks, actually the lead monk, he decided to defect. He didn't want to go back to China. He was going to leave the temple and never come back. Now, this wasn't looked fondly upon by the temple, but he left. So my mentor, my greatest living mentor, who I'm going to talk about in a moment here, he was fortunate enough, rich enough, blessed enough to have been training in martial arts his whole life. So he knew a lot about martial arts, and he appreciated this Shaolin style. So he actually brought the monk into his home, and he had him stay with him. The monk, he gets him to his home, and he's training with him 4 or 5 hours every day, and he's got a translator there to talk to him. And he says, tells the translator, he says, all right, I want you to tell the monk that I want to learn the secret advanced fighting style that he's not allowed to tell anyone else. Tell him I want to learn the secret stuff, the very good stuff. And he goes and and the translator tells the monk, he says, okay, he wants to learn all the secret stuff. He says, I want to show him how to throw a punch. This says the monk. The monk says, I want to show him how to throw a punch. The monk, the guy says, my mentor here, he says, I don't want to learn how to throw a punch. I know how to throw a punch. I want to learn the secret, crazy, secret stuff that no one else knows about. Tell him I want to know that stuff right away. He says, okay. He tells the monk, translates it over to him. The monk says, all right, well, I'd rather really teach you how to throw a punch. And he says, I already know how to throw a punch. And he says to him again, he's like, tell him I want to know the good stuff. I want to know the real secret stuff. Goes back and tells the monk, and the monk says, all right, why don't we start here? He really wants to see you throw a punch. So why don't you throw a punch so he can kind of see your style? And the teacher says, all right, let me throw a punch. He shows, well, what type of punch do you want to see? A jumping punch, a crouching tiger punch, a shouting punch, whatever type of punch it was going to be. So he goes in and he throws a punch. And he said, basically before he throws a punch, he puts a candle out in the room there, right? And he says, I want you to throw a punch and stop as close as you can to the flame of the candle and put the flame out. It's okay. So he throws a punch in perfect form. The punch stops right 1 inch before the candle flame, and just right before it, and the candle flame goes out. So this is great. So he says, okay, now I want to learn the secret stuff. And the monk says, okay, good job on your punch. Before we tell you anything else, he'd like to show you, the translator says, he'd like to show you his punch. He says, yeah, I want to see his punch. So the translator lights the candle, and the monk steps back about 5 feet from the candle. And he throws a kind of a short but a fast punch that stops about 36 to 40 inches prior to the candle flame. And the candle flame goes out. And my mentor here says, I want to learn how to throw that punch. And he says, that's what he's been trying to tell you the whole time. He wants to teach you how to throw a punch. So picture that. I mean, he stops 3.5 feet before the candle flame, and the candle flame goes out. So the monk, he says, I'm not afraid of a man who knows 10,000 punches that he's practiced 1 time each. I'm afraid of the man that knows 1 punch that he's practiced 10,000 times. So focus on the fundamentals. kind of a long starting story there, but that was something light, very, very powerful. I'm going to go right into what the fundamentals are. For the first time you guys listening to this call here, I want to design this call to help with mindset, help with list building, content creation, and ultimately attract people into the mastermind group, because I believe in the mastermind principle, which I'll talk about here in a moment. But let's talk about the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? There's 4 fundamentals that we have to know first. Number 1, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? And I'm going to just summarize this. We could talk on this subject here for an hour, but I'm going to summarize this, okay? Who do you listen to? You listen to people who have what you want, or people who have been where you are and reached success. So, someone who has what you want, someone who's been where you are now, but has reached success. Number 2, teachability index. This is really important. Always asking myself, how teachable am I right now? This is a student's call. I'm constantly a student. I'm constantly learning. And so if you encounter someone that says, it's like the kid who's in high school that says, hey, he's in a rock band, and his teacher says, hey, you should go to college and learn more about music. He's like, I already know everything I need to know about music. I'm going to be a rock star one day. I says, well, he's just a kid. He's just learning music, but he's not teachable at all. His teachability index is 0. So you have to measure yourself. Where are you right now in the way of a teachability index? 1 to 10. You want to be as teachable as possible. Training balance scale, number 3. Training balance scale says that 90% of training is mental. And when I grew up, I was trained to be a baseball player as a kid here in Sacramento. Read a book called The Mental Game of Baseball growing up. In this book, said the same thing. He said 90% of baseball was mental. And I believed it. I used to sit down every day before and after the games, and I visualized myself hitting the ball straight back towards the pitcher, right at the pitcher, visualizing the ball go off the bat right towards the pitcher. And so it's the same thing here. We want 90% of the game is mental, 10% action. 4, conscious competence. So conscious competence is when you start to do things consciously, you start to realize, and you start to control and direct your thoughts. You start to control and direct your actions. Your actions, your thoughts aren't directing you, and you're not just be a drifter. So you become consciously aware of what you're doing. You start unconsciously competent, where you don't know what you've done wrong, and then you become consciously competent. Okay, so conscious competence, number 4. That's just a total bird's eye view on the basic training, okay? Those are the 4 fundamental basics. NEAT, no excuses accepted today. Eliminate all excuses, eliminate fear and doubt from your mind. Remember, fear and doubt is what's going to hold you back from success. So eliminate those things. It's very, very important. All right, let's go into just some basic training on the 3 rules of making money. And I'm going to go into reading something incredibly powerful. 3 rules of making money. First rule, do the opposite. If most people are buying, sell. If most people are selling, buy. Always do the opposite of what the masses are doing. Do the opposite. Number 2, in Charlie Munger's book on how he became a billionaire, he says 2 things, the things you never want to invest in are things that rot, rust, or depreciate. Okay, most of your money should be invested always in things that have an upside. So stop and ask yourself, does this thing have a potential upside that I'm buying? And I find myself asking, well, what about health? If I'm buying something for my health or investing in my health, does that have an upside? Well, if you don't have health, you really can't have wealth and happiness. So yeah, you have to have your health. So health is incredibly important. So be happy, be healthy. I really want to walk the walk here on these types of things. And I am going to walk the walk on these things. I'm going to reverse the aging process myself. You can watch me over the time. I've actually gotten younger, humbly speaking, age-wise, my physical clock has gone backwards from where it was 5 years ago. All right. So let's see. Number 3, you have to adapt a win-win mentality. So a win-lose mentality would be somebody who's traveling the world and they're getting the joy of traveling, but they're watching their bank account go down. That's a win-lose. So a win-win would be traveling the world, going to a different city and getting paid to travel, making money maybe like at a speaking performance, or making money while they sleep, while they're traveling the world. So that would be a win-win situation. Einstein said it took 11 corrections to fix one incorrect input. So it's important that every time you have a negative, you have fear, you have doubt, hate, anger, hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, cynicism, skepticism, these things, you got to be corrected quickly. You got to get in the habit of correcting them. You're correcting your thought. Do it out loud. Go in the mirror and correct it. Einstein says it's going to take 11 times. How can we do that? One way is the master key system, practicing the master key system every day. I can be what I will to be. I can be what I will to be. I can be what I will to be. I'm whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I'm whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I'm whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, happy. Great, one of the greatest American philosophers, William James, he says if you want to change your life, you got to start now. You got to start today. You can't procrastinate. He says you got to do it now. W. Clement Stone used to say, do it now, start now. You know, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today, because you put it off till tomorrow, it's not going to get done. You're not going to do it. That's saying no. I love the person that can say no. I love a person that can tell me no. I love a person that can say yes too. But I love a person who can say no, because they've made a decision. No, I'm not going to do this. Great. Move on. So do it now. Make a decision. Do it now. William James says you've got it. If you want to change your life, you got to start today. You got to start now. So this is the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind community. I want to design this to attract other like-minded big thinkers into the mastermind group. And we have a behind-the-scenes mastermind community that's been created and developed. And I want to bring in more people as well to it. And also just with the ultimate desire of creating total freedom and spreading love and prosperity to humanity. So I'm going to go into reading something incredibly powerful here, okay? This is called Nuggets of Gold. And this is, I'm saving this for the end, so I'm going to give you his name. This, I believe, is the greatest living mentor today alive. He is my mentor and the mentor to many thousands and thousands of people. And before you prejudge him, I'm going to save his name for the end, okay? Happy 2015 to you all. You are about to embark on a magical journey by reading these monthly newsletters, which will be part of Nuggets of Gold newsletter. The universe source has brought us together in a way that for our mutual benefit. Get ready for magic to happen in your life. You want to have desire for something. Maybe you want material things like money and the feeling money can buy. Or maybe you want desire in tangible things like the feelings of contentment, accomplishment, peace, serenity, harmony, joy, bliss, freedom, passion, and improved self-image, confidence, a feeling of self-worth, and to love someone, either a friend or a lover. Maybe you want a relationship, to be loved, or to love someone, either a friend or a lover. You deserve, and that you deserve success in life. Perhaps you want better health, more physical energy, more mental clarity, a better reshaped thin body. Or maybe you want a better job or a better social life, a business of your own, being debt-free, travel, getting over addiction, eliminating depression, stress, anxiety, a phobia, better relationships with friends, family members, neighbors, working associates, relatives, etc. The list of wants and desires is endless. There are no right or wrong wants and desires. Simply listen to your inner self and follow your feelings, and you will come up with your own desires, wants, preferences, choices, dreams, goals, etc. Everything starts with a dream, desire, or goal. Some of you have a desire to have no desire at all, which is in fact a desire. To live a wonderful sense of detachment, not being owned or attached to anything or anyone. So you are always free to feel how you choose to feel 100% regardless of conditions, circumstances, events, situations, or people around you. It is the freedom to be blissfully happy no matter what happens around you or to you or is said about you. Wanting to achieve this is still having a desire. Everything starts with a desire or dream. Desires, dreams lead you to creating, which is why you are here. So what is it you want? What is your dream, desire, goal, preference? You are standing at the buffet line of life. Everything is available to you. All you have to do is choose what you desire, want, and your wish is your command. What do you want? Read to the end of the paragraph, then stop reading and think. Answer the question. Think and feel. Go slow and breathe. Smile. Feel good. Be still. Quiet the mind. What is it you want? Now stop reading for a few minutes and begin to answer this question and come back reading. That's just page 1 right there. I'm gonna end early today, and we'll stop there. We'll pick that one back up next time on next Friday. So this is the first time I've done the call here on the Google Hangout. So you can find that on my YouTube channel, Gavin Mehl. Just search Gavin Mehl. And for those that are listening to the live call or the recording call, thank you so much for tuning in live. And I hope that you find value in this. This is the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind community. Comment below on the video if you watch it. Comment below. Like, do the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We'll help get this out there to people so we can share and add value into their life. And we talked a little bit about the started light with kind of a great story about the Shaolin monk. The fundamentals: who do you listen to? Teachability index, training balance scale, conscious competence. The 3 rules of making money: do the opposite, never invest in things that rot, rust, or depreciate, and adopt a win-win mentality. And we talked about nuggets of gold. So thank you so much for tuning in. This is Gavin Mehl. Subscribe, like, comment if you do like the video, if you're watching live, and if you're on the broadcast, share it out there with your friends, family, people you care about there, and we'll bring more value to you next week. We're going worldwide. This is an exciting time to be alive. I want to thank you. I love you unconditionally. Thank you so much for listening. Appreciation, love, and gratitude. This is Gavin Mehl signing off. Namaste. We'll see you next time. Same time, same channel, Friday, 1 o'clock. Namaste.
Press 1. To return to the conference, press star. And this session is no longer being recorded.